Okay, so now that we've had a look at the importance of cybercrime in business, let's have a look at how it impacts business. While internet security may not be a top priority for most organisations, ignoring potential risks can be disastrous. One of the mistakes executives and managers make is assuming that their company is less vulnerable to cyber attacks than larger corporations. In reality though, small businesses have an equal probability of becoming victims of cybercrime. The most frequent cause for this is that small to medium enterprises, or SMEs, may lack the resources that larger corporations have, and this leaves them more susceptible to cyber attacks and less likely to survive a successful attack. So in what ways does cybercrime negatively impact businesses? Well, companies frequently face indirect costs because of cyber attacks, like the potential of a significant interruption in operational processes, for example, which can result in revenue loss. Cybercriminals often can stifle a company's normal operations in a variety of ways, infecting computer networks with malware or installing malicious code on a server that prevents access to your website. So-called hacktivists often breach the information systems of state agencies or global companies in the name of whistleblowing. In 2010, for example, WikiLeaks supporters fought back against credit card giants MasterCard and Visa, and by launching cyber attacks that temporarily brought down their websites, they caused huge disruption to their organisations and to their customers, which, let's face it, is pretty much all of us. One of the worst ways that cybercrime impacts businesses is a sudden decline in sales as wary clients seek safety with competitors. Companies could potentially lose money as a result of hackers attempting to extort money from their victims. As it prepared for release, the film The Interview, which is a comedy depicting a failed assassination attempt on the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Our Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un is interested in doing an interview with Dave Skylark.
Oh my God.
Hackers targeted Sony Pictures, and they gained access to the company's sensitive data, including embarrassing emails and staff performance reviews. Dealing with the consequences of cyber attacks after the event is way more costly than implementing proactive protection. Being caught off guard may cost a business in a plethora of ways. First of all, you'll need to seek out and pay for a cybersecurity professional and security software. It may also be mandatory to notify anyone whose data is part of the breach. And even once the issue is overcome, insurance premiums are likely to increase and inflict more long-term financial pain. Product designs, technologies, and go-to-market strategies are frequently among a company's most valuable assets. According to intellectual property advisory Ocean Tomo, intangible assets accounted for 87% of the value of 500 surveyed companies in 2015. Most of this intellectual property is in the cloud, which makes it vulnerable to cyber attacks. And within the last 10 years or so, nearly 30% of US companies have admitted having their intellectual property stolen by China. Cybercrime's impact on business may also affect the reputation of an organisation. Companies who are a victim of bigger cyber attacks may suffer severe damage to their brand, and this is despite the fact that it's difficult to measure. Customers and even suppliers may be hesitant to trust a company whose IT infrastructure has already been in a breach at least once. When criminals obtained access to the personal information of its customers in 2014, JPMorgan Chase & Co., or JPM, faced a similar smear. Hackers gained access to 76 million personal accounts and 7 million small business accounts, gaining access to information such as names, addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses. So, businesses usually suffer from cybercrime in several ways. To ensure that sensitive data is safe, businesses must reconsider how they gather and keep data. Customers' financial and personal information, such as credit card numbers, national insurance numbers, and birth dates, are no longer in many businesses' possession. Some businesses have even shut down their online stores for fears that they'll not be able to protect themselves from hackers. Consumers are also more interested in learning how the companies they do business with manage security concerns, and they're more likely to favour companies who are open about the security measures that they've put in place. Cybercrime can have a catastrophic impact on a business of any size. An attack can happen at any time and cause irreparable damage. However, with just a little bit of forward planning and a small budget, the risk of cybercrime having a negative impact on your business can be greatly reduced. Raising awareness in staff, ensuring operational policy is adequate, and using software and hardware that are reputed to be secure by design are all ways that you can mitigate the impact of cyber attacks and ensure business continuity. Let's now head over to Q and get his take on things.
I see cybercrime from the attacker's point of view, so I know the impact that I can have on a business, and it is just business destroying most of the time. If it's not done correctly, if you're not making sure that that stuff's secure, like it's crazy the impact and the damage that a slip-up could have. Slip-ups come in like basically three forms, and it's, you know, the property, right? You could have an open door that allows you to access a filing cabinet that has access to the data. You could have a person who has a bad password, or something in that kind of realm where they have an email address that's public, any personal information that can then be used against an organization. And then you have programs, and there's also a lot of programmatic slip-ups that can happen that is protected using something like penetration testing.
Okay, that's it for this lesson, but in the next video, I'm going to take a look at some case studies of data breaches that have happened to reputable companies and what impact it's had on them. I'll see you there.